Hey, podcaster, I know you are here because you want to get more people into your, I'm going to say the word, funnel. We all hate the word, but it's true, right? Our podcasts are here to nurture, to give, so that you can at least get that one step forward for your listener, for your ideal client, for that person that's out there. Podcasts really do save lives. But as I'm really researching video meets podcast so that I can make sure that the strategy, the templates, the chats, all the things are set up properly, I am learning something. There are two ways that people are growing YouTube channels. There's one for influencers who just want all that affiliate thing, but there's also YouTube for business. And as I'm going deep into YouTube for business, I think we can steal their funnel strategy, add it to Video Meets Podcast and to our podcast, and we can create some magic. I think we're leaving a lot of money and a lot of actual impact on the table if we are not using a funnel strategy. So let's talk funnels. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Beyond the Downloads, the show that dives deeper than stats and charts to reveal the real impact of your podcast. I'm Jennifer Dragonette, founder of the Bold Action Collective, where we believe that bold moves truly spark transformation. Each week, we explore how your unique story, passion, and purpose can create powerful connections that will change lives, yours and those of your listeners. If you're ready to go beyond the metrics, embrace bold action, and unleash the life raft potential of your podcast, you're in the right space. Let's go. So I will be the first to admit that this is something that I need to work on. Something that I am going deep in with my YouTube channel, but kind of don't do it with the podcast. If you've been over to my YouTube channel, you've noticed I haven't published for quite a while because I'm really working on this strategy with my mentor. I think that even when you get to a certain point in your business, you should have a mentor. And this is my season of mentorship because although I love podcasting, I know there's so much more I can learn. Although I've built big shows that have showed up on the top Apple Podcasts in all categories. Yes, I've had a couple of my shows for my clients up there. I've been in the top 3% myself. I have clients in the top 0.5%. Yes, less than 1%. And everything in between. And I have learned a lot. And I love this platform. But what I don't love about it is the lack of searchability and the lack of follow through, and kind of how, just like my show, it's kind of willy-nilly. It's what I want to talk about. Yes, there's sometimes a plan. There's a core theme for the month. But I really believe that as I'm building out this Video Meets Podcast system, which is absolutely amazing, by the way, it's got templates for your thumbnails. It's got ChatGPT responses that help you nail in that ideal client and that get everything actually scripted out for you so that you know how to build these 5-part series on YouTube that actually get people to buy, which also translates over because we're only recording once over there, which also records over to your podcast. So you're actually leading people through a funnel that gets them to build the know, like, trust, builds that win, gets them to want to listen to the next episode, sets them up because we miss that CTA. We miss that cliffhanger that gets people to want to come back next week, right? Those are two areas right off the bat that I'm telling you that you're missing out on. I miss out on these all the time, is that, hey, here's what's next, and hey, here's what I'm offering. That's the only time I'm going to say offer two things. Is one, you're telling them what your offer is, and two, you're telling them why to come back next week. There's a quick little extra bonus for you. But what happens when you do this and you build it out, and there are some podcasters that are great at this. I love, what is her name? Her name is Courtney, but I forget what her podcast name is. But every week she does this. Next week, come back because I'm talking about this. Next week, I come back because I'm talking about that. And it makes me want to come back and reminds me, hey, next week, this is what I get to learn. And the cool thing about this is if you have something that's evergreen, like my 30-day challenge that I'm created for bold visibility, this is going to be turned evergreen. So when I build out a funnel, I properly align it with SEO. I do all the things that make it so people can find my show. I use the Video Meets Podcast process and system so that I can pull out that piece of my podcast episode and I can actually have it build also on YouTube. because one strategy, two platforms, two algorithms that actually works. Yes, I figured out how to do this. But once I do that, I can tell people, hey, come back. And what that does is that sets me up to have repeat listeners. And again, the more you spend time with me, the more you actually know, like, and trust, right? You want to be in my programs. You want to get to know me. You feel like my best friend. And I want you to be my best friend. If you talk to any of my clients, you'll know that they talk to me, whether it's business, personal, meltdowns, wins, they're always in my text messages celebrating it all. Because I don't look at people as just a number. You're a person, and I want to get to know you. Yes, I do run a business. Yes, I do charge for my services. Yes, some of my friends pay me to use my services, but I still think of you as a person. You're not just a bank account to me. And I appreciate the ones that do pay me. And, it is technically about the money because we have to keep our lights on, but I truly want to support you finding your voice. So back to the funnel piece. I want you to start thinking about how to lead somebody into the next step with you, whether that's a discovery call, whether that's a single coaching session, whether that's your course, whether that's something that you affiliate. How can we build a funnel that will draw people in? So for me, because I have a podcast launch course, I could do a 5-part series about how to launch a podcast or when to launch a podcast, the proper things to set up. And what happens is at the end of each one of those episodes that I've also pulled the right pieces out for YouTube, because I am repurposing on YouTube, but you cannot just pull your full podcast episode and put it on YouTube and expect it to grow. YouTube and podcast have two different strategies. Again, that's why I've been working hard on Video Meets Podcast, because there's a way to record one episode and not have it flop on one of the two platforms. But what happens is, as you're building out this series, you really can just think about the actual steps. So think about the process. Again, we're not always giving everything. I give away quite a bit on my podcast because then you trust me, and when you come in, you're going to get way more than expected anyways, because I'm already giving it to you here. So my launch podcast. So when to start a podcast, what equipment you need, what softwares make it easy for editing, what you need to know before you name your show, what's the next step, what's your first step, how to get your podcast out and distributed to the world. All of those things could be a series. And in each one of those series, at the end of that video, or podcast, I am telling you, next week we are talking about the equipment you need. And you're going to want to come back. And once you build that out, the beautiful thing about podcasts and YouTube is that it's SEO driven and it's legacy content. It's not like social media. So we're thinking of everything as social media content most of the time, because that's what we see when we get into business and we start all of our things is, oh my goodness, 24 hours, it's going to disappear and it's not going to matter. No, we need to think about the longevity. So having that series that I build on my podcast and on YouTube, what happens is when people search that and I have titled it correctly, I've done all the SEO stuff, I pop up and I can have a video that can still help, creating that evergreen funnel. So as they go through each one, I'm not only giving them the cliffhanger of what's coming in the next video, making them want to continue watching, which, let me tell you, at least for YouTube rewards when people continually watch your videos back to back. And 2, I'm putting the CTA, if you don't want to do this alone, come join the Profitable Podcast Launch. So as we're setting these up, as we're thinking of them as a funnel, we are actually setting ourselves up for the long-term legacy funnel that we're building, where we're not having to constantly put out every 24 hours or less on social media to get the win. And I think so many of us forget to do this. I know I do. I'm the worst at calls to action. I'm the worst at telling you what's next because I didn't plan. But guess what? In August of 2025, I am putting my foot down. You will get series that will lead you on a path, which will, I guarantee, give you a win for your podcast or YouTube channel, or to find yourself, rediscover yourself so that you can get the visibility that you want and become magnetic. I can tell you that you will see series popping up where one leads into the next, that leads into the next. Will there always be an offer at the end? Probably not, but I always have the one single audit, and I always have my one-on-one package that we can design for you. But will there always be an evergreen offer? No. But there will always be a funnel that will lead you somewhere, that will leave you excited for the next episode, that will leave you ready for the next thing to come, that will leave you to a place where you're like, I need more help. This is how I can get support. And that's what I think so many of us are missing, is we are failing at letting them know what's next and actually designing our podcast as a funnel. Designing it as a funnel to bring people in, to give them that first win, that first step forward. If they want to go 5 steps forward, then they go into your next thing. And that might be a paid offer. That might be your freebie. That might be your email list. Whatever it is, what is that next step? You give them the first step for free with all the details, and then they can continue the journey. Or maybe they continue the journey with your next series that you're bringing out. Because we can give and give and give, and we can almost give everything that we have inside of our program. But what you don't get is that hands-on specialized details that you really need to make it move the needle forward faster. It's all about speed. How fast do you want to go? If you want to go slow, go back through this entire podcast, and I can guarantee you there's a strategy that's going to make your YouTube and your podcast successful and your visibility stand out like a magnet. So I really, really want you to think about your podcast. It might just seem like, why bother? I have five downloads an episode. Well, let me tell you, if you change your strategy, you change your mindset, and you change how you build it out as a funnel, what if those 5 listeners became 5 clients? Would it be worth it to you? Because you can do that. Podcasting is the number 1 conversion. YouTube is close behind. YouTube has the best searchability because, hey, it's part of Google. But people who listen to podcasts get to know you, trust you faster than any other platform. It gets into their subconscious mind, and you can make big changes. So if you're ready to really think about this strategy, if you're ready to really, really go deep into this, I'm going to challenge you to join the challenge. Right now, early bird is less than $100 for 30 days. And this isn't any like a normal challenge. You're not just going to get emails. This is actually a mini mastermind where we're having weekly group calls. We're hanging out together. You have 5 action plans a week that are less than 15 minutes, depending on, your own speed. At 5 days a week that will actually move your podcast, your YouTube, and your business forward. And you get hand-holding. You have a question, you pop in the group, and I actually respond. There's also trainings on how to be a great guest, tech trainings. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it's less than $100. So if you want to get in for the early bird price, grab it. It's on the top of the show notes. And on top of that, if you get in now, you will also get a bonus group coaching call, which is our monthly goal setting, which will be the week before. So we can get you set up for September, and then you come into the challenge. And these calls are so fun. You walk away, it's hot seat. Everybody gets a chance to talk. We all set our goals, and we all support each other. So if you're ready for that, head down to the show notes, or you can just DM me on any platform, and I will for sure get back to you, because we want to have you in this challenge. We want you to be boldly visible, which is why I called it the Bold Visibility Challenge. Well, on that case, we're going to talk next week let's talk about the power of guesting, because we are doing this wrong too, and I think things need to change. All right? So go make your funnel, go sign up for the challenge, and go out and make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, and you are worthy, and your story deserves the microphone.